Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Being Great. Chapter 1. Any person may become great. There is a principle of power in every person. By the intelligent use and direction of this principle, man develops his own mental faculties. Man has an inherent power by which he may grow in whatsoever direction he pleases, and there does not appear to be any limits to the possibility of his growth. There's an inherent power in each one of us to grow, and as far as science can tell, there does not seem to be any limitations to the growth of man. No man has become so great in any faculty, but that it is possible for someone else to become greater. The possibility is in the original substance from which man is spawned. Genius is omniscience flowing into man. Genius is more than talent. Talent may merely be one faculty developed out of proportion to other faculties, but genius is the union of man and God in the act of the soul. Great men are always greater than their deeds. They are in union with a reservoir of power without limits. We do not know where the boundary of the mental power of man is. We do not even know if there is a boundary. This thing's pretty profound. The gift of genius is not just merely talent, but it's when man unites his spirit with God's spirit, we become a force to be reckoned with. And we see this in a line of great people that just lived out their passion and watched that passion blossom into something that was unimaginable by most. The power of conscious growth is not given to the lower animals. Man alone has the ability to develop his power. The lower animals can, to a great extent, be trained and developed by men, but man can train and develop himself. He alone has this power, and he has it to an apparently unlimited extent. And I believe that that's why many of you are listening to this program, because, see, you're seeking personal growth and development. You're looking at your life, as I did 15 years ago, and I said, there has to be more than what I'm experiencing at this moment. And when we get frustrated, that's God's desire in us. The purpose of life is growth, just as the purpose of trees and plants is growth. Trees and plants have possibilities and characteristics that only trees and plants will have. Man can develop any power which has been developed by any person, anywhere. Nothing that is possible in spirit is impossible in flesh and blood. Nothing that man can think is impossible in action. Nothing that man can imagine is impossible in realization. If you can think it in your spirit, if you can think it in your mind, then just the mere fact that you can think that possibility shows you that it's possible. You know, we look at the story of the Wright brothers. We look at the story of Galileo. We look at all these great people of history past, and we say, God used these people mightily. When the Wright brothers were looking at creating an aircraft, people thought they were insane. They said man wasn't meant to fly. If man was meant to fly, God would have given him wings. Today, air travel is something that's unbelievable. Years ago, it was that thing that science fiction was made of. Man is formed for growth, and he is under the necessity of growing. It is essential to his happiness that he should continuously advance, that is necessary for a man to grow. And if he's to be happy, he must continue to grow. So I'm speaking to you creators out there. What is it that you desire? And understand that that desire is God's dormant seed in you seeking expression. Life without progress becomes unendurable. And the person who ceases from growth must become either an imbecile or insane. The greater and the more harmonious and well-rounded his growth, the happier the man will be. There is no possibility in any man that is not in every man. But if they proceed naturally, no two men will grow into the same thing or be alike. Every man comes into the world with a predisposition to grow along certain lines, and growth is easier for him along those lines than any other way. This is a wise provision, where it gives endless varieties. It is as if a gardener throws all of his bulbs into a basket. To the superficial observer, they would look all alike, but growth reveals a tremendous difference. So it is with man and woman. They are like a basket of bulbs. One may be a rose that adds brightness and color to some dark color of the world. One may be a lily that teaches a lesson of love and purity to every eye that sees. One may be a climbing vine and hide the rugged outline of some dark rock. One may be a great oak, among whose branches the birds shall nest and sing, and beneath whose shade the flock shall rest at noon. But everyone will be something worthwhile, something rare, something perfect. Isn't that awesome? That within you is the seed of greatness, and the only thing that you have to do is be that thing that God's destined you to be. And you say, well, DeCarlo, how do I discover that thing? I would ask you this, Creator, what is it that you're passionate about? And when you discover that thing that you're passionate about and begin moving in the direction of your passion, you're going to discover your greatness. But let me move forward. There are undreamed possibilities in the common lives all around us. In a large sense, there are no common people. In a time of national stress or crisis or peril, the ordinary Joe of the corner store or the town drunk become heroes and celebrities through the quickening of the principle of power within them. There is a genius in every man and woman waiting to be brought forth. Every community has some great man or woman, someone to whom all go to for advice in times of trouble, someone who is instinctively recognized as being great in wisdom and insight. To such a one, the minds of the whole community turn in times of crisis. He is undeniably recognized as being great. He does small things in a great way. He could do great things if only he undertook them. So can any man, so can you. The principle of power gives us just what we ask of it. If we ask to only undertake little things, it will only give us power to do little things. But if we try to do great things in a great way, it gives us all the power there is. Beware of undertaking great things in a small way. We'll speak of this a little more further along. There are two mental attitudes a man may take. One makes him like a football. It has resilience. It reacts strongly with forces applied to it, but it originates nothing. It never acts of itself. There is no power within it. Men of this type are controlled by circumstances and environment. Their destinies are decided by external events outside themselves. The principle of power within them is really never active at all. They never speak or act from within. And the other one makes a man like a flowing spring. The power comes from within him. He is like a well of water of everlasting life. He radiates force, has filled by his environment. The power of principle in him is in constant action. He is self-active. He has life within himself. No good can come to any man or woman unless they become self-active. We activate that spirit within us, that life force within us, by providence. Men are forced into what we call self-activity. As life events take place, it moves us to step outside our comfort zone and to become greater than we could ever imagine. The awakening of the principle of power in man is the real conversion. He passes from death to life. When the dead hear the voice of the Son of Man and live and come forth, it is the resurrection of life. And when men experience this awakening, this resurrection, they become sons and daughters of the highest, and all power is given to them in heaven and on earth. Nothing was ever in any man that is not in you. No man ever had more spiritual mental power than you can attain, or did greater things than you can accomplish. You can be what you want to be.